So I just want to throw in a quick video of an overview of the new MacBook Pro. That is the 2016 MacBook Pro. This is just a few minutes after the event was done. And I finished watching the event. Now the main feature that was displayed in this new MacBook Pro is the touch bar. They call it the touch bar. It's an adaptive touch panel on top of the MacBook Pro's keyboard that changes according to the app you're using to suit its multifunction capability for each app. Like when you're in Photoshop or when you're in an photo editing app, editing functions appear at the top. So when you're in a music app, music functions appear at the top, like displayed in the event. Let's say you open a DJ app, the DJ functions open at the top. Like it's like a multi-touch, just like another display. So that was the main feature that they spoke of. It's adaptive. It changes according to apps. You also can customize it, which is one great thing. You can customize it accordingly, and they spoke about developers also having access to it and creating things on their own for it. So that's one of the main things in the new MacBook Pro. Some things that they removed, as I noticed, was the glowing Apple logo light. Like I did in a different video, you can check the link in the description. Some people ask, how do you turn off that light over these years? But now Apple finally turned it off for themselves. None of the new laptops in Apple's lineup have that light anymore. The Apple logo is just a piece of aluminium now. It's no longer glowing. They also got rid of the card reader, and they added four multi-port USB 3.1 ports. When I think that was Phil Schiller. Phil Schiller said that you can charge the laptop from whichever port. So you have four charging ports. Whichever side your plug is on, you can plug it onto that side. So that's really convenient. It's got a new display, probably the same resolution, because they didn't speak of resolution. They said it was a certain amount, I think 61% brighter, and with a new color gamut and something like that. The new MacBook Pro is now, for the 15-inch, it's 15.5 millimeters. That is from 18 millimeters on the previous model. So that's what, 2.5 millimeters thinner. And for the 13-inch, as I saw, was the 13-inch was 4.9 millimeters. That is from 18 millimeters on the 13-inch. That from last year's model. Another thing they got rid of, as with the SD card slot, and they just added four other similar ports. They also got rid of the MagSafe connector, which was something that I really liked all over these years. It was a good, safe way to charge your laptop. If you trip over the wire and it won't fall, the connector just disconnects. So they finally got rid of MagSafe. They didn't mention it or anything. They just removed it entirely. And of course the SD card reader is gone, but I'm sure you can use an adapter and plug it to one of the 3.1 ports. They were not very specific of battery. They just said 10 hours of all day battery life, like they usually do, nothing much. They mentioned a lot of things about the cooling system, and internal new. They have redesigned the cooling system with two fans. The new MacBook also has a larger trackpad. It's actually 2 times larger than the older trackpad, which gives users with larger fingers more access to and more ease of use to the trackpad, and also gives access to your multi-touch controls much easily. They also mentioned about their new cooling system, their cooling fans and all the internals. They compared it to their older MacBook Pro, the previous 15-inch, with 3D graphics, gaming, video editing performance. I'll put the photos on the screen so you can see. They also spoke about internals, how each model has a different selective of internals. And now something that I noticed was they finally allow a 2 terabyte option. I think earlier it was only up to 1 terabyte. I'm not really sure about that, but I think now they allow up to 2 terabytes, which is great if you don't have to carry a external hard disk around. They showed Microsoft PowerPoint also accessible for that new touch bar thing. Microsoft PowerPoint with all the tools available on the touch bar thing. So that's something from Microsoft. And also another key feature they announced was Touch ID on the MacBook. So you have a second generation Touch ID fingerprint scanner on the MacBook. And also when you have two fingerprints like of two different people logged set into the MacBook, you can change the user by just scanning your fingerprint. They just showed it on screen. Phil Schiller and that other guy, when one is done using, the other guy can just scan his finger and it switches to his profile entirely instead of using a password. So that's something nice. Now, as of just 15 minutes after watching this video, I'm not really sure whether they did it, but I think they've cancelled the MacBook Air entirely and they replaced it with this MacBook Pro, 13-inch MacBook Pro that doesn't have the Touch ID bar. It's kind of a downgrade from the new 13-inch MacBook Pro, but they said they targeted at the market that used to be the MacBook Air's market. They added another port in. Now it has two USB 3.1 ports. So that's it. They said it's targeted for the X MacBook Air whatever market. So now we have 4 MacBook models. That is the MacBook, the one with the single port, the 13-inch MacBook Air replacement, so-called MacBook Pro, and then the higher-end 13-inch MacBook Pro with the touch bar, and then the 15-inch MacBook Pro also with the touch bar. Pricing starts for the 13-inch MacBook Pro without the touch bar from $14.99, then the 13-inch MacBook Pro with the touch bar from $17.99, and the 15-inch MacBook Pro, the full-on model, the base price being $23.99. So that's it for this video. I'm sorry it's all in a mess. This wasn't in order as the event goes. I'm just looking through the photos I just took. Just a quick overview that I made 15 minutes after the event was done. So don't forget to like this video, share it and subscribe. And tell me what you think in the comment section about the new MacBook Pro. Are you going to buy it? Are you going to wait on a couple of years till maybe another one is released? Or are you actually happy with the MacBook Pro you have, maybe the previous year's MacBook Pro? So yeah, thanks for watching and don't forget to like this video, share and subscribe.